And welcome everybody. Let's make sure that we are live. So I'm over here looking at, we are live. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to episode 66 of JobSeeker Live Talk. During our episodes, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be sharing how job seekers can best position themselves in today's job market. We're talking about various topics, resume tips, interviewing advice, and the real struggles that a lot of job seekers are having today. So let's just get right to it. And welcome, Mathew. Mathew, I'd like for you to just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what all the different things you do, and then we'll take some questions from the audience.
Absolutely, David. No, thank you very much for inviting me on, and really looking forward to the conversation. I know that between the two of us, we'll share quite a lot of practical advice today to help job seekers listening in. But yeah, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Mathew from Dream Job Hub. My business partner, Galena Daniel, and we help job seekers, much like David, land their dream role. And we're also in the recruitment space in finance and IT. So very much looking forward to seeing what we can achieve today.
All right. Now, hey, everybody, if you have a question, what I want you to do is put it in the comments, right? And let us know where you're watching us from. What country, maybe if you're in the US, what state, but what country. Now, speaking of that, Mathew, where do most of your clients come from, and do you serve people, all over the globe?
Yeah, pretty much all over the globe, David, to be honest with you, particularly on the job search side. Obviously, I'm based in the UK. Galena's based in Sweden, so we help people in the UK and Europe. We also help people in US, Canada, all over the world. And then obviously on the recruitment side, we have a particular specialism in finance and IT, particularly the Europe area, I would say. So for myself in finance, I particularly help people in and around the city of London and across the UK.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot of people putting some comments in there, and we'll share those here in a minute. Remember, if you have any questions. Now, you do something totally different. And I was going to say I'm never going to do what you do as far as recruitment. I just don't, I just don't think that'll be something that I do. But so not only do you help people with their LinkedIn profile, their cover letter, their resume, and all that, you can, just like you said, like in finance and IT, help people, even do one step further in helping them land that job. Now, so how do you do that? I mean, are you connected to some companies that you're able to help introduce some candidates that you think that would fit certain roles that they have open?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we have to do as a recruitment agency is really have that kind of dual relationship going. So obviously we have the relationships with professionals and executives, people that we think are placeable candidates. But obviously at the same time, we need to build up those strong relationships with businesses and companies that are recruiting for ideal candidates. So, in essence, I can really appreciate why it's not for everybody. I know that you said, on the job search side, it makes a lot of sense, but the recruitment side is obviously a whole different ball game, and it does require that constant work of building relationships on both sides of the equation. So what will happen is a company will come to us that we have a relationship with, or maybe a company that we haven't dealt with before but has heard about us. They'll come along and say, look, Mathew, we need a new finance director, we need a new CFO. Have you got a suitable candidate for us? So then I'll consult our list of previously built up candidates, and I'll say, yeah, we've got a fantastic, CFO that's looking for their next opportunity in London, and then we'll try and make that relationship work and make that introduction.
Okay. And so, I know that, creating a LinkedIn profile, resume, what, I know those have a, certain dollar amount, attached to them. Right. But so like, so if I come to you and I think I need your services in placement, what do I pay you to play? Do you charge the, so what does that look like? Do I have to dig out more money to help you get me land that job?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the client in that case switches. So obviously, if we're helping somebody with a job search, whether it's a CV, LinkedIn profile, cover letter, much like yourself, obviously the job seeker is the client in that respect. When it comes to recruitment, the client becomes the company that's looking to place a suitable candidate. So in that instance, then it's no charge to the executive or the job seeker. The charge is purely borne by the business, which I know a lot of candidates will be pleased to hear.
Right. Well, so not only if I hire you to create my resume and whatever, if I'm in those industries or you can help, place me, you already know everything about me because you've helped me develop my resume and my cover letter and my LinkedIn and all that. So that makes sense. So I just want to make sure that, the job seekers knew that, because a lot of times they think that might cost them, 10% of maybe their first, their yearly wages or whatever. So I'm happy that you definitely shared that. So let's see who we have. Cynthia, good morning. Cynthia, looks really amazing where you're at in that photo. So, or where that photo was taken. So let us know where good morning is for you. And hey, good morning. Let us know, what part of the world that you're in, everybody. Let's see here. Hey, we have people. We're global. We're in Canada. We got Kelsey from North Carolina. Hey, Kelsey, any adverse weather yet in your area? Because I know Florida is going to get, maybe not get it hit as hard with some adverse weather that we thought we were going to get there. So all the way from Uganda, hello. Oh, Tacoma, Washington. Hey, you're in my neck of the woods. You're only about 3 hours west of me, Cynthia. So thank you for that. And hey, there's my friend there. Hey, thank you for showing up. Hey, and yes, he writes amazing articles. So if you need an article written for whatever, I tell you what, make sure to very good friend. He writes amazing articles, and you need to double your prices, but not today. Wait till tomorrow. In case Mathew needs to get in touch with you. We'll share some people, some others here in a second as well. So we have quite a few people watching us on LinkedIn here. So, all right. So why do you do what you do? You had to, I'm sure you had a day job at some point in time. What did you do? And, what made you, transition to doing what you do now, Mathew?
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that question, David. And, for me, I was actually working for a large charity before I decided to set up my own business. And it was really one of those circumstances where I was kind of pushed into it because I was bullied out of where I was working, actually. And, I kind of did a lot of good work with the charity. I was finding quite a lot of economies. I was saving quite a lot of money, but I feel like it probably ruffled some people's feathers that kind of didn't want to have their wastage exposed. So it was kind of a case of being pushed out. And I've been thinking about setting up my own business on the job search side for quite a while. So it was that incentive that I needed. And I was really pleased that happened, because obviously here I am. I get to kind of serve people on a daily basis, as I know that you do, David. And I'm sure you'll agree with me. There's no better feeling than if you allow people to really unlock their potential and kind of get them the role that they're looking for. because life is short, and there's no time for untapped potential. I think that people deserve to be in the role that they wish to be in. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that experience of having been pushed out of the role that I was in at the end of my in-house career, and now I get to serve people like yourself, David, on a daily basis.
There is, and you're absolutely right. I mean, there's nothing more rewarding. Somebody maybe messages you, maybe it's a month later or whatever, and all of the blue, oh my gosh, I got my dream job. I'm getting paid like Dave, like 30% more. I wouldn't have, thought that was possible. And a lot of times, and they're, oh my God, I'm grateful. I do take a little bit of credit, but as well, I'm sure you do too. I mean, it makes us proud, right? We feel like proud parents, when somebody gets that job, even if they're older than us. I feel like that proud parent. But for me, I really don't think I did anything other than getting the things out of here, out of my clients, to then craft that resume or LinkedIn or cover letter in the right way. So a lot of times it is just the questions that we ask. Why the resume is one thing that I do truly believe, not because of doing what I do, because if I had to look for a job tomorrow, I would literally probably hire you or somebody like yourself to write it. Because even though I do what I do, we need to, sometimes we're too close to the subject matter to know what to include or what not to include. But I mean, why do people struggle with writing maybe their own resumes or creating their own LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, that's a fascinating question, David, and it is really interesting, because I think people sometimes, they feel some kind of trepidation towards selling themselves, and I think that one of the reasons is they don't know exactly kind of what they're selling and what it is about themselves that's marketable.
Sure.
And, the great thing about getting that second pair of eyes from somebody like David or myself is that we kind of know what people are looking for. So sometimes, we'll read a resume and then we'll have a conversation, and then something will come out in that conversation, and you think, why on earth didn't you mention that in your resume, because that's really marketable. And I think people don't always realize what it is that people are looking for, so they don't know what it is about themselves that's really valuable in terms of their career and their skill set. So I always say to people, think about companies and think about their pain points and think about exactly what they need to make their life easier on a daily basis, and think about how you've done that for others in the past. All businesses obviously exist to make revenue, to control costs, to make a profit, to have better time management, to have better cohesion, to have better inspired workforces. Think about those things where you can really add value on a daily basis, and kind of don't be shy about sharing those, because I think that can be a big part of this. It can be that trepidation, that shyness, that kind of, well, I don't want to be seen to kind of blow my own trumpet too much. But, it's kind of what you have to do. You have to think about where you've added value, where you've really added to the bottom line. Think in terms of numericals, think in terms of tangibles. If you can say, I contributed a yearly revenue increase of 10%, or I cut costs by 25%, that's much more valuable than saying, I focus on cost reduction, or I focus on this, or I focus on that. Give some tangibles, give some numbers, and track those things whilst you're not looking for a position, because you'll really thank yourself, 2 years down the line, that you can actually remember the figures and remember the things that you've done. Just create a spreadsheet. Anytime you make a tangible difference and you add value to a company, note it down, because you've pretty much written the resume for yourself if you manage to do that.
Oh yeah, you will not need to hire, well, maybe you would still. You don't need to hire Matthew and I, yes, annual review time. Anytime that you have an opportunity, I don't care, a spreadsheet, Word doc, I don't care where you keep it, but keep a running total of all those amazing things, because yes, if you haven't touched a resume in 10 years and you didn't need one, it is hard to go back and think of all the amazing things you've done in 10 years, because sometimes there's so many, it's hard to remember any. It really is. So, we're going to ask you for those. So you might as well write them down in the moment. And in the moment, it's the best time. Yes. Because if you're doing that, tweaking that resume all the time, whether again, it's just writing down your notes, it's going to be so much easier to develop that resume when you need it. All right. We've talked enough about resumes because you and I both know resume just maybe gets us, they review it for a little bit, right? The company determines whether or not they're going to, reach out to us. Maybe they go to their LinkedIn. I still get clients. Well, Dave, the resume is good enough. Why is the resume not good enough anymore? And why is LinkedIn just as important or maybe even more important than the resume at times? What's your take on that?
Absolutely. Well, LinkedIn has really increased in importance for job seekers, and it's no longer good enough to treat your LinkedIn profile, as you know, David, as a kind of a resume dump. You just kind of transfer all the material across from your CV. It's not an online resume. It's much more dynamic than that. What you're really trying to do with a LinkedIn profile is to position yourself as a thought leader and an expert in your field. And obviously, there's certain similarities there with a resume, in the sense that you need those tangibles, you need that evidence of things that you've achieved in the past. But you can go much further than that, and that's where personal branding comes in. That's where thought leadership comes in. You have your featured section there at the top of the profile, which I know is something that you're keen to remind people of, David. You have that space where you can actually show your knowledge in practice. So if you're great at being able to come up with new revenue streams, then it's fantastic to mention that in the resume and to have that tangible evidence. But even better if you've got content that shows that you're contributing those ideas and you put it in your featured section. The HR manager can start to see your knowledge applied in practice. So you no longer become just another candidate, you become a thought leader. And that personal branding you'll find invaluable in your job search.
Yeah, I totally agree. Think about hardly anybody adds anything to the featured section. And so when you do, I had a recruiter on this live a couple weeks ago, and, he was saying the same things that you were, I were doing, saying is he may only spend 10, 20 seconds looking at a resume. He goes to somebody's LinkedIn profile. He may spend a minute or two, depending on the value add that they're adding, like in the featured section. And that's where the LinkedIn profile really becomes like your own free personal branding website. You can share just so much more. You don't need to put your resume in the featured section. We want to know, like, maybe there's a link to a website that mentions, the project that you were a part of. Maybe you're not mentioned by name, right? But then I have clients, and I'm sure you do as well, go, wait a minute. My company had me write an article that talks about, this. Well, oh, great. Then, add that there. That's the featured sections, like your trophy case, sharing, it's giving social proof of some of the things that maybe you've said on your resume. What are some of the other things maybe that people could share in that, featured section?
Absolutely. One of the things I'd recommend, David, is that, if there's a company that you're particularly interested in, if you have a dream company that you wish to work for, or you have a dream industry that you want to go into, start kind of offering the kind of valuable ideas in your featured section that company can benefit from. You can even do a case study of that particular business and give 5 concrete ideas that you've identified, things that they're missing, gaps in the market that they might be able to exploit. If you want to go into banking, for example, and there's a particular bank that you want to work for, do a case study and say, I think Barclays could really benefit from moving into this emerging market, or I think they've missed a trick with this, that, or the other. And then the hiring manager from that company is going to think, gosh, this person's already adding value to us and they're not even here. Like, we need to hire this person, So that's strongly what I'd encourage people to do, is start adding value to a company even before you're there. Because psychologically, the hiring manager is going to think, this person clearly can add value because they're already contributing ideas.
Yes.
It's almost like you're answering interview questions before you're even at the interview.
Yes.
So, you're kind of preempting the things that they're going to ask you, and you're writing about them before they've even got you to interview. I mean, what perfect way to get your foot in the door than that?
Oh, that's perfect, Matthew. And what I would say is, if you're afraid to mention the company, that's fine. Talk about the industry.
Absolutely.
Just in general, because it'll still ring true to that particular company or across many. So again, then speak about the industry itself. If you don't want to, maybe if you think that they feel like you're targeting or you're a know-it-all or whatever. Again, it depends. It depends. I think it would depend on maybe your position or just whatever. But yeah, then just target the industry. So that is amazing. I mean, LinkedIn is, recruiters are going on there looking for people as well too. So that's where, hiring somebody like Mathew, maybe your resume is solid. If my resume is absolutely solid and you look at it and say, I need no help, could you still help me with my LinkedIn profile?
Absolutely. I think that's really the key, is that, sometimes we see somebody that's got a fantastic resume, but they're kind of treating the LinkedIn profile as kind of a poor relation of the resume. And I think, I don't want to generalize, but sometimes that can be a generational thing, because somebody that maybe has been in a position for 15 years and has suddenly found themselves needing to search for another job, they're kind of applying by the old rules, as it were. They're kind of, they might have a fantastic executive resume, but they haven't kind of grasped the importance of that personal branding element yet. And it is vitally important, because you need to have that URL of your LinkedIn profile at the top of your resume. And if you look at the statistics on how many hiring managers and recruiters look at LinkedIn now, it's pretty much 100%. So
yes.
if you've not got a presence on there, then you're kind of severely denting your chances. And the other thing is, and you probably have this as well, David, that I'll get people reaching out to me still to offer positions on LinkedIn based on the LinkedIn profile alone. So the SEO aspect, the keyword aspect of your LinkedIn profile can sometimes negate the need to actually apply with a resume in the first place anyway. Yes. So you kind of want all your options available on the table. You want your resume ready to go for perfect applications, but you also need to be visible on LinkedIn and searchable and findable. Because I know David achieves the same as me in terms of thousands of search results, thousands of profile views. So if you can do that, you're showing up before the right people. You're getting in front of the decision makers. Sometimes, you don't even need to apply for the crowded positions that everybody else is applying for, because people can find you because you're searchable. And that all comes down to having an optimized profile.
Yeah, so spot on. I do get clients that say, just like you, my resume is good enough. If I have to have a great LinkedIn profile, I don't want to work there. I'm like, well, then you don't want to work anywhere, because times are changing. You still need that resume. But again, there may be a point, maybe when Mathew and I retire, that I guess the resume could go away if it just we used our LinkedIn profile or whatever. So maybe just maybe. But it is a great combination, because you're competing against hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. That's why not only the resume, but LinkedIn and learning how to brand, just like Mathew said. So let's say hello to some more people all the way from Yana, all the way from Bulgaria. So hello.
Yeah, welcome, Yana.
And Nigeria representing, and to Thomas, and it's somewhat close to you.
Yeah, welcome, Thomas.
Let's see here. Hey, all the way from India. So really appreciate you showing up, and maybe across. I'm on the West Coast. Nancy is all the way on the East Coast, saying hello to us from Brooklyn.
Welcome,
Remember,
Liz.
everybody, if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the in the comments there. So, hey, India's representing, and let's see here. And Talib, hello to you.
Welcome, Talib.
Timothy, I know who you are. All the from Michigan. So hello.
Welcome, Timothy.
And hey, this sums it up.
Yeah.
Good enough is just not good enough anymore. So yes, and you
Well
need
said, Lucia.
and Lucia, you need to be flexible in your thoughts. And that's a pun because I'm seeing that you're looks like doing some. I could do that once, and then I might have to go to the doctor.
You're not going to do that at your spin class, David.
Yeah, I can spin, but yeah, I don't know if I can do that.
Not that kind of spin.
Spot on with the advice, Mathew. So Timothy.
Thank you, Timothy.
And all the way from Lucia's all the way from California. So I'm in Washington State, not that far away. And remember, make sure everybody, if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments. We have at least one person watching us on YouTube or Facebook. Please, 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 in the comments, can you share where you're, is it YouTube? Is it Facebook? Because we don't get that many. My audience is really here on LinkedIn. I have a somewhat decent audience on Facebook, but I don't have the time to engage except on LinkedIn. So I apologize, Facebook and YouTube. But hey, we lost them already. So I'll go stalk them and find out where they are. So all right. How about this, Mathew? My question is, the resume works, but other qualifications also difficult, like cross-border job. Okay, so maybe what they're trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong. Do the resumes look the same in Europe, in Australia, in Canada, in the US, in India? Can resumes all look the same, and will they translate maybe from one country to another, whether we're talking about resumes or CVs? And in the US, CV is almost like a longer version, and I know in other places of the world, CV is resume. So we'll talk about both of those. But are there differences? If I live in, say, the US, and I'm going to be moving to Africa and applying for jobs there, will they translate? Do I need some help with somebody to help me maybe make that slight change? What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a fantastic question. And, you really do need to get a hold of kind of the different requirements in different geographical locations. There are similarities across borders when it comes to resumes and CVs, but there's also very different requirements in different parts of the world. So, you find a lot of similarity, for example, between obviously countries that are geographically quite close to each other. So you'll find quite similar requirements in, say, Canada to the USA, or UK to Europe, even US to Europe. Actually, there's quite a lot of transferability across those markets. But as soon as you start kind of getting to Asia or to Africa, then you're looking at a different format. So it is always useful to get that checked, and kind of, even little things like whether to include a headshot, for example. There's certain parts of the world that will, want that, or at least not be against that. Whereas, you don't really need that anymore in Europe or the US. You may not be penalized if you do, but it's not always a requirement anymore. So, and also the length, as David alluded to, on the resume. So you'll find that, in Asia and in Africa, you can often get away with a longer CV or resume, but in Europe and the US, you often need to be a lot more concise. So, it is always worth checking out those geographical differences. And I think also the question might be alluding to, if you've kind of feel like you're qualified, but in a different location, they kind of ask for different qualifications that are maybe not kind of the type of qualifications that you have in your geographical area. Then what I'd say is that's when the tangible kind of transferable skills become so important. So, if a resume lists your qualifications and you feel like they're good qualifications, but they're not exactly the qualifications that have been asked for in the job description, then it's about pulling out the transferable skills. It's about looking at the job description and trying to work out what those qualifications are designed to be a means to what end. So think about the type of value that they're wanting you to add as a candidate, and think about why it is that they've asked for certain qualifications, and work out what it is about your qualifications that lends themselves in a transferable manner to the requirements of the job specification that you're targeting. And that transferability will really help you.
And sometimes that takes somebody that can quickly see those transferable skills. And sometimes that isn't us, meaning the job seeker. That is that is like Mathew. So make sure to reach out to Mathew. We're starting to get a good number of questions in here. So I'd like to thank our audience for that. All right. Question. You spoke about maybe the featured section. Can we feature any projects that maybe we've been a part of?
Absolutely. So for the featured section, obviously, as David and I was talking about before, you can offer company insights, industry insights, but also case studies of things that you've done in your career that have really added value, because storytelling is really valuable as well. And obviously, when you get to an interview, it's the sort of thing that they're going to be asking you about. So try to preempt those type of questions. So, if you're wanting to go into the project management field, obviously the obvious question is, what have you managed? Which project? What were the outcomes? Did you lead anybody? How many people did you have in your team? What were the results? Did you have cost efficiencies? What was the revenue growth? So do a post where you do a case study about a particular project. Mention your role. How many people did you lead? Mention key terms like cross-functional leadership, cross-cultural leadership. Mention things like team inspiration, how you manage to motivate staff morale. Talk about tangibles, talk about numbers, and then get that in your featured section, because that's going to be the thing that catches recruiters and hiring managers' eyes straight away.
Okay. No, solid. And thank you for maybe the correction on the last one, because maybe I think we have some feedback we'll put up there. So that, the featured section, and I get clients, I'm sure you do, Mathew, that say, well, I don't have anything to share. And then I'm like, you told me you worked on this one project. That seems pretty big. Have you Googled it? And they Google it and they find various things they can share. So, and remember, even if you're not mentioned, but you can, share that project, it's still giving social proof that you were tied, that you were a part of it if it's referenced on your resume. So yes, all of those things, all of those different projects and different things you were a part of, whether you're mentioned or not, is what that featured section is really for. And they're so easy to add those things, so easy, whether it's a photo of something, a PDF, or a link to a website as well. All right. What I want everybody to do real quick, let me share my screen. All right. I want everybody to put hashtag best week ever in the comments. And at the end of the show, very, very, very end, so you better stick around. At the very end of the show, I'll be giving something away. So make sure to put hashtag best week ever, because it then will keep track of who enters, and then we'll do a random drawing that looks really cool. We'll have confetti flying over and we'll be sharing that. So again, hashtag best week ever. Follow it if you want, but put that in the comments, and then we'll give something away right after the show. All right. So we have at least one person watching us on YouTube. Not sure on name, but hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to ask, should I keep working in an analytics company as opportunities in IT sectors are more than other sectors? So maybe he or she has more opportunities in, than working in an analytics company than, an IT sector. I mean, any thought on industry? Let me see. I've done my bachelor's in petroleum, but I didn't get opportunity there. And since I was good at SQL and stats, I got opportunity at analytics companies. I mean, any benefit? I mean, are there more jobs opening in the IT sector? I mean, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a very good point, because obviously sometimes people want to kind of pursue a role in a certain industry, but they don't feel like the opportunities are there. And I would say this is where networking becomes really important, because you may have a solid base in a certain industry, like in analytics or in IT, and you may want to stay there for the safety of knowing that there's a lot of roles in that particular industry. But what I would say is, if there is an industry that you would much rather go into, then obviously you don't need to throw in the towel at your existing industry and say, I'm going to gamble, I'm going to leave, I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to try to find a position in the other industry. What I'd say is, whilst you've got that security of a particular job at the moment, use LinkedIn as a networking space to kind of put out those feelers into those different type of industries. You can start creating content about those other type of industries. You can start networking with decision makers in those type of industries, and you can start to get a feel as to whether that kind of switch, that kind of transfer is available to you. Because I know that here at Dream Job Hub we've managed to help a lot of people that are in kind of the area that you did your degree in. So if you feel like you don't want to be stuck in the IT or the analytics sector, and you want to kind of return to the industry that you did your degree in, which I think was, you mentioned, in petroleum or something of that nature. We've helped people kind of land opportunities in that area. So it may well be just a case of, now that you've been in IT, if you want to make that switch back, it may be a case of looking at the resume again, looking at the transferable skills, making sure that the kind of things, the kind of key terms that they're going to be looking for in that industry that you want to target, and kind of starting to put out those networking feelers with decision makers on LinkedIn. Start doing a little bit of research about the roles that are available. And as I say, we've helped a lot of people in the petroleum field. Obviously, there's certain geographical locations that are more fruitful than others.
Sure.
But if you want to give me a connection request, then obviously we can look at that a little bit further and kind of see what we can do there.
Oh yeah, and that sounds like a great opportunity. So make sure to take Mathew up on that. And everybody, I will have links to a few various things of Mathew's, his LinkedIn profile, website, email, and all different ways to get in touch. Make sure to follow him as well. And after you follow him, in case you don't know, under the very right corner of Mathew's banner, when you follow somebody, a little bell will appear. Make sure to click that bell so that way you can see his daily content on LinkedIn. And he posts a lot of content. I can't keep up with all the content that you're putting out there, though. So let's see here. Everybody is hey, yeah, put it down. If you're coming in now, make sure to put the hashtag best week ever. I'm going to be giving some stuff away at the very end of the show. Let's see here.
I'm really envious of the best week ever reason that Kelsey's put as well. She managed to have a
yes, and you know what? She's put that up there, so I'm gonna share it. This week has been Kelsey's best week ever. Actually, her brother is visiting. We got to go golfing together at Pinehurst Country Club. First time my mom, her mom, not my mom, brother and her have been together in almost 4 years. That is the definition of hashtag best week ever. So yeah, great job. Make sure to post about that too. I want to see you golfing. I am a terrible. I've golfed one time in my entire life. I parred. I only played the 5th hole. I parred it. I said, "Hey, I'm done. I'm retired. I don't need to play anymore." Golf just not violent enough for me. I like watching some rugby or watching some American football. All right. I believe that you might have a new website that's out.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, David. We've got a new website out at www.dreamjobhub.com. You can also find that in my featured section, because I do like to practice what I preach. If you go to my featured section, you'll see how I've taken advantage of that. Our new website has launched. We have kind of tailored support, similar to kind of what David offers, and also we have the recruitment help, but we've also launched our video portal. So if you go onto our website, you'll find some very affordable tutorials. So for any of you that might be, short on cash at the moment, if you're between positions, we've got some kind of very affordable tutorials on there that have landed, lots of people their dream role. So do check out the website, do check out the video tutorials, and just send me a message if you've got any more questions about that.
Yeah, no, I like it. So I'll make sure to put this all in the show notes, so that way everybody can see all of the different services that you provide, from CV, resume to cover letter to LinkedIn. And your team have a plenty of recommendations here on LinkedIn showing proof of what you do. So, everybody, you can really, you're in good hands when you hire Mathew there. So I want to share one other thing. Let me take a look here. All right. Let me ask you this. I'm going to be frank, but so you and I see other clients, other people that do what we do in our space, and charging a lot for a resume and LinkedIn and cover letter. I mean, like a lot. If you would have been charging a lot, I wouldn't have had you on the show. Here's the reason. I believe in, why should I charge one person one thing and one person? I want to make it affordable for literally everybody to land their dream job and whatever. So you feel the same way, and is that why maybe you price? Because listen, your clients get results. I'm sure you could charge an awful lot, but I know your pricing. It is extremely fair for what you deliver. So why do you price maybe the way you do, when you probably could charge a lot more? And people tell me that all the time. But why do you do that, and why do you really enjoy helping job seekers?
Absolutely. No, thank you, David. I really appreciate that. And, we do try to be affordable. Obviously, it's a time investment from our side. It's our expertise. We get results. I mean, we had a recent client actually that was looking for a senior vice president role, and based on the package that she acquired from us, actually, within a few weeks, she got the role that she was looking for. So actually, as a percentage ROI, it was something like 25,000% ROI on the package that she invested in. So it's not a bad return. No. We try to make it affordable like David does, and kind of make sure that we can help as many as many people as possible, because as we were alluding to at the beginning of this, in terms of why we do what we do, it really is that joy of being able to see people unleash their full potential, get the job that they would like, change geographical area, change industry, find themselves in that new position if they're out of the workforce for the first time in many years, ease the anxiety, ease the pain, ease the struggle. And, even further still, that's why we've launched the video portal that I was talking about before. Because even for those that can't afford the individual services, we want to make sure that they can at least access our really lengthy and detailed tutorial packages, which are only around about £10. So, we've tried to make those affordable for as many people as we possibly can, and those include bonus documents as well. So, if you can't afford a tailored cover letter, for example, then you might want to look at our tutorial package, where you'll get a template cover letter free with a tutorial package, for example. So we try to help as many people as possible here at Dream Job Hub.
No, and that's amazing, because maybe my resume really is solid, and maybe I just need help with a cover letter, right? And so I can get that. And like you said, maybe at the moment everybody can't afford all of the services. So yes, I'll put links to that all in the show notes, because having that available, really, again, could take that person from, struggling that they can't afford it, but they pay that, £10 or whatever it is for that particular service. And then they do end up getting that job. And then maybe later they, tweak their, LinkedIn or resume and hire you for that. So I think what we're going to do is, now hold on, everybody. We'll be doing the giveaway here shortly, but we do have a question. How can we search our targeted audience on LinkedIn, regardless of why you're here? Maybe you're a freelancer, like the person asking this question, or maybe you're a job seeker. How can I use LinkedIn as maybe a database to, search for targeted audience?
Absolutely. And, this is where you would hope that those other people have optimized their profile so that they're searchable. Because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to, search for the key terms that you're looking for and not be able to find the right people. But what I'd say is, obviously, going to the search option, obviously you need to make that as detailed and specific as you can. So you might want to start breaking it down in terms of geographical area, industry, even specific company. So if you know that there's a particular company that is the ideal kind of target audience, either for your job search or for the type of client that you would like, go to that company, look at their list of employees that have a LinkedIn profile. And the thing that you really need to be doing is seeing how active they are on the platform. Because if you just send a connection note to anybody that you come across, you may well find that they were last active 6 months ago. Yes. And you're kind of wasting one of your valuable kind of connection notes by doing that. So just click on, recent activity, see what they're doing, see whether they're posting, see whether they're commenting, get a feel for whether they're the type of active LinkedIn participant that you need to kind of reach out to. Because LinkedIn, is going to punish you if you send too many connection requests. You want to kind of use them strategically. Always use that personal connection note as well to kind of tell the person why you're reaching out, but you don't want to scare them off by pitching to them straight away in the connection note. So you want to keep it as neutral as possible, just to express a wish to keep in touch. And one of the things that I'd really recommend that job seekers and service providers do is go to that person's content and start to build up some trust and rapport. So if you go to their content, comment on their recent couple of posts or their last half a dozen posts, add some real value, you start to get into their consciousness, you kind of make yourself known, you build up trust and rapport. So then the connection note success rate is going to be much higher for you if you've already had that prior interaction. So find them, see whether they're active, look at their recent activity, comment on their posts, get some comment replies from them, get a conversation going, And then when you connect, you'll find that the success rate is near 100%.
Oh yes, and Matthew, maybe you do the same thing I do, but there's some big influencers, even bigger than us. I know it's hard to imagine, but that are on LinkedIn, right? And maybe we do the same thing. Maybe we're not connected to them, but if we can follow them and click that little bell, and maybe you get on people's radar, and then then they accept that connection request, or they comment on one of your posts or whatever. So yes, all of that takes time. Yes, I understand that. But you'll get a very good success rate, just like Matthew said, when you actually, send that connection request. So I hope that answered that. So we have somebody that wants to say hello. So
amazing to see you. Yeah. Thanks very much for coming along.
So hello, and hey, says thank you, Matthew. This has been awesome.
Thank you very much.
He's going to connect to you, or they're going to connect to you. Oh, sorry. He's going to connect to you ASAP. I got to see if I can't see that profile photo good enough. It's too small, too small on my screen. But they will connect to you on LinkedIn straight away there. So and hey. Thank you for that amazing advice. So yes, everybody, treat LinkedIn also. It's not only a networking event, but LinkedIn makes that search feature so easy. So easy, searching by people, job title, industry, company, location, first and second degree. You could use the advanced searching, but to be honest, the simple searching usually works good enough. And persistence is key. Yes, without badgering them and bugging them and spamming them. Yes, be persistent there. So
yeah, and just to add to that, those, as David and I were talking about just a moment ago, those comments on posts are so valuable, because when I post about something and I'm scrolling through the comments, I can immediately see who's put thought into their contribution, and added real value.
yes.
And if you're wanting to catch my attention or somebody else's attention, if you're commenting things that really kind of catch their eye, you're adding real value, then you're going to stand out, amongst more than 99% of other people on the platform. If you're just reacting to posts, people aren't going to remember you. If you're leaving a very kind of empty comment, people aren't going to remember you. If you add real value and you do it consistently, as was just said, then you'll start to get into people's forefront of their mind. And that's when, you send the connection request, and the success rate will be much higher for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, if you're there to support, like maybe I'm busy and Matthew's busy and he just wants to provide support, then he might just say, hey, great post. I agree with that. And I get that. But yes, but even when I see something that I really enjoy, maybe it's somebody I'm not connected to, maybe it is, yes, there are times that I put some thought into it because it either rings true or I am trying to provide, some insight. So there's times for both. There's times to support a friend on their post or whatever. And then there's times where you do want to take, depending on, how much maybe time that you have in the moment.
Yeah, and absolutely. And if you're applying from the job seeker's perspective, if you're applying for a role, on LinkedIn, it will tell you if the person that posted the role is on LinkedIn. So if you do a job search and, it says, this was posted by so-and-so on this date, you then got somebody that you can go to their content. You've got the hiring manager's name. You can then start commenting on their posts if they're active on LinkedIn. And that's when you start to add those more meaningful comments. As David says, if you're supporting a friend and you just want to help their post circulation, you might be able to just add that, one line or a few words to offer support. If it's the hiring manager and you're wanting to catch their attention, that's when you can start to add some real value.
And Timothy says it. I mean, yes, we have to have that resume ready in case we need it. Okay. And yes, we need to build our network when we, before we really need it and, really looking for employment. Yes. And I know we don't think of that. A lot of times, Matthew, people aren't active on LinkedIn unless they are looking for a job, when LinkedIn is not this boring business platform. You know, it isn't. I know Matthew and I have a lot of fun engaging, you know, chatting. So it's not necessarily just for recruiters and just for job seekers. B2B happens. There's plenty of entrepreneurs on LinkedIn. There's, again, everything and anything happens on LinkedIn. And it's maybe not as spammy as Facebook can be. And it's a little kinder and gentler maybe than Facebook. Anyway.
Very true, very true. And as Timothy alluded to there, build relationships before you need them, not when you need them. When you need them, it's too late, because it takes a long time to nourish a really solid relationship. You know, there's opportunities that come my way today as a result of conversations that I started years ago with somebody. So, you know, build those relationships early and do it consistently, and check in with people, and you'll find that you'll really boost your career that way.
I totally agree. Yes. I mean, I might build a connection, like you said, a few years ago that maybe refers business to me, or I refer, again, you never know what, but building that network will be on LinkedIn will be one of the best things you could do for your future today, tomorrow, and well into the future. Matthew, it's been a pleasure. It was fun. We're aligned on a lot of the same things. So that's why I knew it would be a really good show today. We had a lot of interaction. We had 51 people here at one time. And for a live, that's really good. And I know we're going to have plenty of people watching us on YouTube later, Facebook, you know, on the replay on LinkedIn as a post. So might be some additional comments that maybe some questions later, but really, you know, thank you for being on the show today, Matthew. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much, David. I really enjoyed the discussion. I feel like we covered a lot of ground for everybody. Hopefully people are taking some key, concrete advice away from what David and I have spoken about there. And please do connect with me, everyone that has come along. I'd love to keep the conversation going. And obviously I really appreciate your time in tuning in. And thanks again, David, for having me.
Oh, of course. We'll have to do this. We'll have to do this again. If you ever have an announcement or whatever, then you can come right here and share it. So make sure to connect, follow Matthew. I'll put all the links to the email, your LinkedIn, your website, all those things in the show notes. And everybody, stay tuned for that giveaway. Matthew, have an amazing rest of your evening.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks, David. Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye-bye. All right, everybody, time to give away some stuff. Now, what I want you to do, if you haven't done so already, please put in the show, or in the comments, please put hashtag best week ever in the comments if you haven't done so already. How many people we got given? We have 9 entries. You need to be present to win. So here we go. So what am I going to give away? Well, let me share that. I have an online course coming out pretty soon. Let's say November-ish, and it's almost October. So I'm going to give away my online course right now to somebody. So here we go. All right. We're going to draw right now. And everybody, this is the coolest thing ever. Well, okay, maybe not the coolest thing ever, but all right. So here we go. It's totally random. Look at this. It's generating it right now. It's generating it. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Yay, Kelsey. Hey, it literally is. Now it's officially your best week ever. So, Kelsey, I'll send you a DM. I'm going to put you on my list. And when that course comes out, you're going to get it. You can get it for free. Now, what is it going to be about? It's going to cover everything about really from the novice to the quote unquote expert on LinkedIn. It is going to walk you through everything and anything regarding your LinkedIn profile and a little bit a little bit more. So if you feel like you quite understand LinkedIn and you're posting a lot, you're still going to benefit from this because I have a lot of bonus content in there as well. I've really crafted this over the last couple of years and really have looked at a lot of different content, a lot of different courses. So Kelsey, more information to follow. I'll put you on the list. I'll send you a DM. So yes, yay, you won best week ever. Best week ever now officially. So I'm going to give away one more. If you haven't already put best week ever in the comments, make sure to put best week ever in the comments right now. I'll give away another one in just a minute. Now, what I want you to do is if you don't win today, I want you to follow hashtag best week ever, because in the next few weeks, I might be giving away some others. So yes. And yes, hey, yes, this is really your best week ever. Again, so let's give another one away and then we will call it a day. So here we go. I'm drawing again. I'm hitting it. There we go. All right. Random, it spins. Now, Kelsey, you can't win twice. So if it comes up with your name, I got to spin again. All right. Hey, we have a winner. I don't have a picture, but Caroline, I will be in touch. And you won my online course. I'll be in touch and put you on the list and let you know as soon as that launches. Even before it launches, you'll have access to that. And all I would ask is that you provide me some feedback after that course, because you'll be one of the first two to actually take that course before it really gets launched there. So, hey, that's it, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Make sure to follow my guest, Mathew. Make sure to follow his company page. I'll put that in the show notes. Take a look at the website. And hey, we had some good time today, right? Learning about how job seekers can best position themselves. I do this show every Wednesday, so feel free to come on by. And as always, I hope you make the rest of this week your best week ever. Bye for now, everybody.